You trusted your instincts, saved a millionaire without knowing it, and now they are coming for you. That question that's probably bouncing around your skull right now is why in the world would someone with that kind of power, with that kind of wealth, that kind of access to literally anyone on the planet be looking for you? Not someone famous, not someone connected, not someone with a blue check mark or a boardroom title or a trust fund. You, the person who's been quietly moving through their days, doing what felt right, even when it didn't make sense on paper, even when nobody was watching, even when the smart play would have been to look the other way. And here is the part that's going to hit you right in the chest. They have already found you. They have been watching for a while now. Not in a creepy way, like a stalker way, but in that specific, focused way that happens when someone with resources and reach stumbles across something they have been starving for without even knowing it was missing. And you delivered it without trying, without charging, without even realizing you were handing them a lifeline. Think back to a moment that felt entirely unremarkable at the time. Maybe it was 3 weeks ago, maybe it was a random Tuesday afternoon when you were half distracted, scrolling through something on your phone, and a thought crossed your mind. Something in your gut said to pause, to pay attention, to send a message or make a post or speak up about something that had been sitting heavy in your chest for a while. And it didn't feel like a big deal. It didn't feel like the kind of thing that would change anyone's life. It probably felt like the kind of thing you do every day, trying to be honest in a world that rewards polished performance. Trying to stay real even when everyone around you seems to be performing for an invisible audience. You hit send. You spoke up. You said the thing that felt true even though your inner critic was screaming that it sounded too raw, too unpolished, too much like you. And then you went back to your life. Laundry, groceries, that email you'd been avoiding, the usual rhythm of existing. You didn't think about it again. But here is what you couldn't have known. In that exact moment, in some expansive corner of the world you've never seen, someone who has more money than they will ever spend was having the worst night of their life. Not the kind of bad night where you spill wine on the cashmere sweater. Not that. The kind where everything they have built is crumbling in slow motion. The kind where they are surrounded by people who smile at them while quietly carving out pieces of their life. The kind where they have been trapped for years, decades, in a pattern that slowly suffocated every honest part of them. This person has been floating in a sea of luxury and isolation, surrounded by assistants and advisors and supposed friends who all want something. Every interaction is a transactional. Every compliment comes with a hidden invoice. Every relationship is weighed against what it can produce. And somewhere deep inside, past the private jets and the compounds and the art that cost more than most people's houses, there is a hollow space that's been growing for a very long time. That hollow space has been a secret. They have never told anyone, because when you are that wealthy, you are not allowed to be broken. You are not allowed to admit that you feel utterly alone in a room full of people who depend on you. You are not allowed to confess that your marriage might be a carefully constructed arrangement, that your business partners might be slowly draining your accounts, that the people who should have your back are the ones holding the knives. So you smile. You play the role. You keep showing up to the meetings and the galas and the private dinners. You laugh at the right jokes. You nod at the right moments. And inside you are a ghost haunting your own life. That was where this person was when they found you. Not because they were looking for you specifically, but because something in the algorithm decided to put your voice in front of them at the exact moment their soul needed to hear what you had to say. The thing that hit them was probably something you barely remember saying. A sentence that felt obvious to you, a perspective you've held for years. The way you praised something that nobody else in their orbit would have dared to say out loud. Because your world is different. You don't have to protect a fortune. You don't have to wait to weigh every syllable against quarterly earnings or stock prices or fragile egos of people with too much power. You just spoke like someone who had nothing to lose and everything to say. And that authenticity cut through every wall this person had built. It bypasses the security systems. It made it past the filters. It hit them somewhere so deep that actually felt their body respond. Maybe they felt their chest tighten. Maybe they felt tears coming before even understood why. Maybe they replayed what you said 5, 10, 20 times, trying to figure out why it was landing so hard. And then it clicked. It clicked. You'd named something they'd been carrying along for years. Something they'd convinced themselves they were imagining. Something they thought was their fault. And you said it like it was obvious, like it was just the truth. Like anyone could see it. That moment broke them open in the best possible way. Not cruelly, not destructively, but in that specific way where the illusion finally shatters and you can suddenly see everything clearly. The toxic relationship they had been accusing for 2 decades, the business partner whose loyalty had been brought long ago, but long ago, the children who'd been turned against them, the trust that had been siphoned away piece by piece while they were distracted by the noise. They saw it all because you'd simply held up a mirror. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. That's what you did. That's what you gave them. The ability to see their own life without the fog. the permission to trust what they'd been feeling but couldn't articulate. The confirmation that they were not crazy, were not paranoid, were not the problem. And now they are awake, wide awake, 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling, replaying years of interactions through a new lens. And they are angry. They are heartbroken. They are terrified. And they are overwhelmingly grateful. They are grateful. But here is where it gets complicated, because gratitude from someone with that kind of power doesn't look like a Hallmark card and a fruit basket. When a person in that basket feels untapped, they move differently. They don't send a thank you note. They don't post a grateful tweet. They start making calls. They start moving capital. They start planning something that could fundamentally alter the trajectory of their life. And your life as well. And they want to do it without you knowing. That's the part that might sound like fantasy, but it's happening right now. They are currently in conversations about you that you will never hear. They are asking their people to figure out how to get money to you without triggering questions, without causing a tax nightmare, without exposing you to the kind of attention that might actually be dangerous. Because in their world, everything is complicated. Everything comes with strings. Every gift has consequences. And they are trying to cut through all of that to give you something clean, something that will not change who you are. And something that will just fix what's been broken in your life without breaking anything else. The irony is that you probably cannot afford to fix the biggest thing in your life right now. Maybe it's your car. Your car, that thing that's been making that sound for months. Maybe it's your living situation, the place that's too small or too expensive or both. Maybe it's your health, the thing that you have been putting off because you cannot figure out how to pay for it. Maybe it's the weight of supporting other people when you can barely support yourself. Meanwhile, this person is sitting on enough money to solve every single one of those problems without blinking. And they want to. They genuinely, deeply want to. Because you gave them something that money cannot buy. You gave them back their sense of reality. You gave them the ability to trust their own judgment again. You gave them a second chance at the rest of their life. And they know with absolute certainty that there is no price tag on that. So they are determined to find a way to give you something that actually matters in return. But here is what you need to understand about that moment. This isn't random. This isn't coincidence. This isn't the universe playing a cruel trick or dangling a carrot just out of reach. This is the result of a very long pattern of choices you have made. Often, when it would have been so easier to do the opposite. Every time you chose honesty over convenience. Every time you spoke up when silence was safer. Every time you showed up for someone who couldn't pay you back. every time you trusted that small voice that said, say it, do it, go there, even when your head was telling you to stay quiet and play it safe. Those moments accumulated. They added up. They created an energetic signature that's visible to people who are looking for exactly that. And apparently, when you have billions of dollars, what you are really looking for is someone who cannot be bought, someone who doesn't need you, someone who wouldn't change a single thing about themselves just to get closer to your world. That's what you represent. That's why they cannot stop thinking about you. You might be thinking that this is too good to be true. That's okay. It's normal. It's normal. Your brain is designed to protect you from disappointment. It's going to throw up every reason why this cannot be true, cannot be real. It's going to remind you of all the times you hoped and were let down. It's going to point to your bank account and your circumstances and everything that says you are not the kind of person this happens to. I need you to recognize that voice for what it is. It's not wisdom. It's not realism. It's the echo of a system that's been telling you that you are too ordinary for extraordinary things. And that system is wrong. The very ordinance is what makes you extraordinary to someone who's surrounded by people performing wealth and status 24/7. You are the only honest thing in their field of vision. That's the rarest commodity there is. And they know it. They know it. The timeline on this is already moving. They are not waiting. They are not hesitating. People with that kind of resources do not generally waste time when they have made a decision. They have decided you matter. That decision has already translated into action. Somewhere right now, there is a conversation happening about how to make contact. It might be a lawyer, it might be a private investigator, it might be a foundation they control. There are a dozen ways to move money and opportunity through the world without leaving fingerprints. And they are exploring all of them. The question isn't whether something is coming. The question is how it's going to arrive. And that's where you come in. Your job right now is not to chase it. It isn't to try to figure out who it is or how to position yourself. Your job is to keep doing exactly what you have been doing. Keep trusting your gut. Keep saying what's true. Keep showing up for the people who need you. Do not change a single thing about who you are and what you are creating, because that's the thing that attracted them in the first place. The moment you start performing for them, you lose everything that made you vulnerable. I want you to pay attention to your environment right now. Not in a paranoid way, but in a present way. Just notice the weird synchronicities, the repeated numbers, the unexpected messages. The intuition tells you to check a certain app or open a certain email that you were about to ignore. That's not random. That's alignment. That's the world telling you that something is cooking behind the scenes. And when it finally appears, it's not going to look like you expect. It's not going to be a black SUV and a non-disclosure agreement. It's going to look like an opportunity disguised as something ordinary. A message that seems like a spam but isn't. A connection that seems coincidental but isn't. A door that seems to appear out of nowhere. That's how this works. That's how it's going to arrive. And when it does, trust it. Even if it feels awkward, even if you are tempted to dismiss it, even if your brain starts manufacturing a thousand reasons to ignore it, trust it. Because the truth is, you have already proven you can trust yourself. You did it. You did it when it mattered. You did it when nobody was watching. You did it when you had no reason to believe it would pay off. And it's paying off now. And it's not because you did. You did it for the payoff. But because the payoff is simply a reflection of what you have been building. You have been building. This isn't about luck. This isn't about lottery ticket. This is about becoming so full of yourself that the world has no choice but to respond. And the response is going to be bigger than you imagined, bigger than a single check, bigger than a one-time bailout. This is going to shift something fundamental in how you move through the world. You are going to have options you didn't have before, space to breathe, freely breathe, that you couldn't afford before, freedom to create without the constant courage of survival. And the person who is making this happen, they are not doing it out of pity. They are doing it because they recognize something in you that they have been searching for their whole life. And they want to make sure you never have to question your own worth again. So let this land. Yeah, let it settle into your bones. The pursuit is real. The intention is real. The person is real. And they are actively, right now, working to find you. Not to exploit you, not to use you, to repay you, to honor you, to connect with the one person in the world who reminded them that the truth still exists. You are that person. You always have been. And they are coming. So stay aware. Stay grounded. Keep your phone charged and your inbox open and your heart soft enough to receive something good, because it's arriving and you are going to look back at this moment as the exact second everything changed. Exact second.